Hi there. Thanks for joining me again. And Carl says hi. We're here to do a little story time for you today, and we're going to talk about pets today. So I think that you will enjoy this story, especially if you have some pets at home. Before I get started with that, I wanted to share a fun koala bear fact with you. Koala bears are picky eaters. They only eat eucalyptus leaves. Now, according to the World Wildlife Federation website, there are 700 kinds of eucalyptus, but koala bears only will eat 50 of them. So even though they not only do they only eat one kind of plant, but they only eat certain kinds of that plant. So, Carl, you are certainly a special little guy. I'm going to set you down over here and you can listen to the stories, okay? So, as I mentioned, we're going to be talking about pets today. I brought some little stuffed animals. Here's a cute little Dalmatian. Woof, woof. And I have another cute little dog pet. This is a Scotty dog, just like in the Wizard of Oz story. You know, Dorothy's dog was a little dog like this, and his name was Toto. Now, maybe you don't have a dog at home. Maybe you have this kind of a pet. This is a kitty cat. I have a cat at home named Spanky. He's an orange cat. I also have two dogs because I don't have enough to do. Maybe you are allergic to furry pets and you have a fish. Now, bonus points if you recognize this fish from a story you've read. Do you know what story this little goldfish comes from? Did you guess The Cat in the Hat? Well, you are right. So good job. Okay. I'm going to start with the dog story today. And then later on, we're going to learn how to make this fish kite. It's based on a traditional kite that's made in Japan by children. So we're not making it quite the same way they would, but I think we'll have fun with it. Our first story is Oh No, George, and it's by Chris Houghton. And you can see George is a dog. He tries to be good, but it's very hard. So here is George, and here's his owner. His owner's name is Harry. Harry is going out. Will you be good, George? Asks Harry. Yes, says George. I'll be very good. I hope I'll be good, George thinks. Wow, he's already a little concerned. George sees something in the kitchen. What does he see up there? What does that look like? It's cake. I said I'd be good, George thinks, but I love cake. What will George do? What would you do? Oh no, George! He ate the cake. He just took a big bite out of it. Well, oh, it looks like he ate it all up too. What has George seen now? It's Cat. I said I'd be good, George thinks, but I love to play with Cat. What will George do? Oh no, George! He decides to play with Cat. Although I don't think Cat thinks it's very playful. Cat looks kind of scared. They knocked over some furniture and everything. What has George seen now? Some lovely dirt. I said I'd be good, George thinks, but I love to dig in dirt. What will George do? Oh no, George! He's got his paws going and he's digging through the plants. Harry is back. Hello, Harry. Great to see you, says George. George, what have you done? You've ruined the place. And how on earth did you eat a whole cake? I said I'd be good, George thinks. I hoped I'd be good, but I wasn't. What will George do? I'm sorry, George says. I want to give you my favorite toy. Thank you, George, says Harry. Why don't we go for a nice walk? So George apologized. Great! George loves to go out. There are so many things to see and do. Uh-oh, George has seen a cake. Will he eat it? No. George walks straight past. Well done, George. George sees some lovely dirt. Will he have a little dig? No. Well done, George. George doesn't even try to chase Cat. Even Cat is a bit surprised. Something smells very interesting. What can it be? It's a trash can. There's nothing George likes more than digging in trash. What will George do? Looks like he's getting closer and closer. George? Well, that's the end of the story. What do you think George did? Was he a good dog or did he give in to his impulses? You'll have to decide that for yourself. All right. I've got a fun story here about our second kind of pet that we talked about a little bit ago, cats. This one is called Fat Cat, and it's a Danish folk tale, and this story was retold by Margaret Reed MacDonald. She's a very famous storyteller in person, and she also has written some books. So let's see what this story is about. It's called Fat Cat. That is a very fat cat. A cat and a mouse kept house. You can see this was not a good plan. Cat was always hungry. Mouse was always cooking. I wonder why Mouse felt like he or she had to cook all the time. One day, Mouse baked 35 pies. But slip, slap, slurp, the greedy cat swallowed them all. Oh my goodness, that hardworking mouse, just trying to keep the cat away, has to bake all those pies. Mouse looked at Cat in alarm. My cat, you sure are fat. I may be fat, but I'm still a hungry cat. And out the door clomped Cat, meowing greedily. Oh, I'm meow meow fat, 'cause I'm a hungry, hungry cat. I'm meow meow fat, 'cause I'm a hungry, hungry cat. A wash lady, sudsing her clothes, looked up in surprise. My cat, you sure are fat. I may be fat, but I'm still a hungry cat. And slip, slap, slurp, Cat swallowed the wash lady down. Then slip, slap, slurp, down went her soap suds and her laundry too. Burp. Oh, I'm a meow meow fat, 'cause I'm a hungry, hungry cat. Up marched a company of soldiers, brandishing their swords. My cat, you sure are fat. I may be fat, but I'm still a hungry cat. And slip, slop, slurp, down went the soldiers. Then slip, slop, slurp, down went the swords too. Burp. Oh, I'm meow meow fat, 'cause I'm a hungry, hungry cat. I'm meow meow fat, 'cause I'm a hungry, hungry cat. Along came the king on his elephant. Look how much bigger cat is than elephant. The king and the elephant stared in amazement. My cat, you sure are fat. I may be fat, but I'm a hungry, hungry cat. Then slip, slop, slurp, down went the king, and slip, slop, slurp, down went his elephant too. Burp. Oh, I'm meow meow fat, 'cause I'm a hungry, hungry cat. I'm meow meow fat, 'cause I'm a hungry, hungry cat. cat called Mouse was doing her mending. She was sewing and snipping and snipping and sewing when in plumped Cat. My cat? You sure got fat. Look how much bigger. I may be fat, but I'm still a hungry cat. And slip, slap, slurp, down went Mouse. Then slip, slap, slurp, down went her scissors and needle and thread, too. Mouse looked around Cat's huge stomach. She saw the wash lady. She saw the soldiers. She saw the king and the elephant, too. They were lying around looking miserable, doing nothing at all. What is wrong with you folks? Said Mouse. He may be a fat cat. He may be a hungry cat, but enough is enough. Mouse took her little scissors and poked a hole right through that greedy cat's stomach. She began to snip and snip. As soon as the hole was big enough, out jumped the little mouse. Everybody out, she cried. Out stomped the wash lady, dragging her wash tub. Out marched the soldiers, waving their swords. Out came the king, leading his elephant. And they all went about their business. But Mouse spent the rest of the day sewing up Cat's tummy. After all, they were friends. Meow, 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 said the cat. Oh, I'm meow, meow flat, 'cause I'm an empty, empty cat. I'm meow, meow flat, 'cause I'm an empty, empty cat. After that, Cat may have been hungry, but he always left something for Mouse to eat. And now, whenever folks meet Cat, they are careful to speak with respect. My cat, you sure are fancy. My cat, you sure are fabulous. My cat, you sure are fantastic. That's the meow meow tale of the fat. So this is a folk tale, as I mentioned, and there are many similar folk tales told around the world. Can you think of a story where the animal eats so much, like maybe Red Riding Hood, where the big bad wolf swallows up the grandmother and Little Red Riding Hood in some versions? So, and here's a little picture of the tale teller. This is Margaret Reed MacDonald right here. And this is the illustrator, Julie Pashkis. So I hope you enjoyed that folk tale, and I really like it. This was a Parents' Choice Book Award winner. All right, let's do our last story so we can get right into our crafting. This one is called Memoirs of a Goldfish, and it's by Devin Skillian, illustrated by Tim Bowers. What is a goldfish going to have to write a memoir about? Here is the goldfish getting scooped up. Day 1, I swam around my bowl. Well, that's not very interesting. Day 2, I swam around my bowl twice. Day 3, I swam around my bowl. I thought about taking a nap, but fish don't sleep. So I swam around my bowl. Day 4, I got some company today. I don't like the looks of him one bit. He doesn't say anything, he just bubbles. Day 5, Mr. Bubbles still hasn't said a word. He just looks at me. I said hello today, and he said, he's creepy. Day 6, today my bowl looks like a garden. There are a bunch of plants in here now. I guess I'll have to water them. Great. Day 7, Mr. Bubbles and I now have company. He's a snail. There he is. He says his name is Mervyn and he likes to eat the slime off the inside of the bowl. He's disgusting. Oh, wow. Now there's a new pet here. Day 8. Things are getting very crowded. While watering the plants, I met a crab named Fred. I offered him my fin, and he nearly cut it off. Even Mr. Bubbles is afraid of him. Fred says I should stay on my side of the bowl. Look, I said, the whole bowl is my side of the bowl. He snapped his claw, and Mervyn fainted. I gotta get out of here. Day 9. That does it. My bowl now contains a sunken pirate ship, 2 guppies named Rhoda and Clark, and an angelfish named Cha Cha, who says she's from Hollywood. I can't turn around without bumping into something. At least Mervyn is happy. There's more gunk on the side of the bowl every day. Day 10. This is ridiculous. I was trying to find room for a swim today when Rhoda and Clark told me they're going to have babies soon. Like there's room for that. Fred knocked Mr. Bubbles over and he became tangled in the plants. Cha-Cha said she couldn't help with Mr. Bubbles, but needed me to apply her sunscreen. The sides of the bowl are covered in slime, and Mervyn says he's too full to eat anymore. Yuck. Day 11. I'm a nervous wreck. Trying to avoid Fred, I turned around quickly this morning and came face to face with my reflection in a mirror. I nearly jumped out of my gills. I don't even look like myself anymore. I need to relax. Day 12. I've had it. Rhoda and Clark were racing around the bowl. Fred was fighting with Mr. Bubbles. Mervyn kept belching. And Cha-Cha told me I was standing in her light. I just lost it. This is my bowl, I screamed. I want my bowl back. Day 13. Today I got my wish, sort of. With a whoosh and a splash and a clank and a plunge, I was suddenly in a very tiny bowl of clear, pure water. It was small, but it was all mine. It was heavenly. I swam around my new bowl twice. But I started to wonder what happened to everyone. When I last saw Mr. Bubbles, he was tangled in green. Who would help him? Poor Mervyn was probably sick as a dogfish. He needs me. Cha-Cha will get a sunburn without me around. And what about Rhoda and Clark? Did Rhoda have her baby guppies? There are probably 1,000 of them. They need me to make guppy bottles and change guppy diapers. Even Fred needs me. I'm the only one who can really talk to the crabby guy. Have they even noticed I'm gone? Does anyone miss me? I started to cry, and that's not easy for a fish to do. Day 14. After a long, sad night, there was a whoosh and a splash and a clank and a plunge, and I was suddenly sprayed in the face by bubbles. Mr. Bubbles gurgled a happy tune. Rhoda and Clark raced by me like 2 speedboats, followed by 12 of the cutest baby guppies you've ever seen. Mervyn waved his tail at me from the nice clean glass of our enormous tank. Cha-Cha sat happily beneath an umbrella. I think even Fred missed me. We're all back together, and I looked around and realized I'm part of a big family. I guess I must have smiled because Clark said, "You look happy." I wanted to see for myself. "Where's the mirror?" I asked. "What mirror?" asked Clark. "We don't have a mirror," said Fred. No mirror? No wonder I didn't look like myself. It wasn't me I was seeing. He has a friend. Her name is Gracie, and she's the color of a fresh tangerine. She's a Pisces, just like me, and today we're going to swim around the tank together. Twice. And that's the end. Well, that is a good segue into our little craft project. As you know, we have free craft supplies at the library. You can also make our crafts from something you have around the house already. Today we're making a little fish kite. I can't really wave it around for you, but you've got a little stick and some yarn. You've got a piece of construction paper, and you've got some tissue. So how are we going to make this? Here's your little supplies. So I have a blue piece of paper. You might have a different color, and that's okay. You have a little baggie with some small parts, and you have a little pack of tissue paper. So to begin with, you can see there's a long side and a short side of your paper. We're going to hold it up this way, and we're just going to make it into a little tube. And we'll secure that with some tape or glue. I'm going to use tape. If you decide to use glue, you might have to wait a little while before going on to the next part of the project. Even if you do use glue, you might want to put a little extra tape on there. So basically, step one is just to make a little tube out of your construction sheet. Okay, I'm almost done here. I see you. Okay, set that aside. Next, we are going to make use of our tissue. So in your little packet, we put in a pattern in case you'd like to use it. Notice here on our sample, we have just layers of little colored tissue just wrapped around here. So the nice thing about using tissue for this is that it's very thin and easy to cut through several layers at once. If you'd like to use the pattern, you can do that by cutting it out. Some kids like to be very precise in their crafts, and others just like to just get right in there and try it. So some of you might want to use a pattern, and some of you might not want to use a pattern. So I don't judge. However you want to do it is fine. Let me see if I can get that moved down a little bit more. All right. So like I said, you can cut several layers at once. So this will save you some time. So I'm just going to leave my layers together. And using this pattern, if you want to, you can trace around it with a pencil. You probably don't need to do that. You can just kind of hold on to it with your thumb and cut around it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to trace. Okay, so this gives me, with one go around with the scissors, I now have, let's see, I have a blue fish scale, a yellow one. I have, let's see what else. I have a pink one, and I have another yellow one, and I have a red one. So what are we going to do with these little scales? Well, I want you to leave a little bit of room at the top for your construction paper to show through, because we're going to put some holes in there. But basically what you're going to do is put a little bit of glue on your tube and arrange the scales in kind of a little pattern around there. So I'm going to put some liquid glue on here. I think you could use liquid glue, or you could use a glue stick. It just kind of depends on what you have around your house. So once you have some glue on there, now we're going to start at the bottom. So let's put we're going to start at the bottom and work our way up, okay? And probably do a little overlapping. So I'm going to put just a little bit more here on this side, put another one on. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit more here on the red. And I'm going to put on a blue fish scale, getting around there. Okay. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue on both of these ones here, and I'll put on a pink scale. All right, so now I'm going to show you my sample again, and you'll notice that the next row you continue on up your fish and add scales and go all the way around like that. So this may take you a little time. I'm not going to do that whole process for you right now, but you kind of get the idea. So when you get up to the top, leave a little space, and either with a little hole punch if you have one, or if you don't, you could ask mom or dad to help you punch a hole, maybe with a pencil or something. Just be very careful not to poke yourself with it. All right. So we've got our two little holes punched opposite sides. This is where you're going to put your string. So I'm going to put one side in here. Right, and then I'm going to do the other side over here. And after you have this, we tried a couple of different ways of attaching this, and we felt like tape was the best option to get our little craft stick on there. We put in I guess it would be like a coffee stirring stick, like this. And you can get to find where the middle of your string is and wrap it around a couple times, and then add a little extra tape. You may have a more ingenious way of doing this. I just, more power to you. This is how we did ours. Now, let's pretend like I have put all my fish scales on top of here. I'm still missing one little feature. We put some construction paper to make some eyes. So you've got some scraps of construction paper in here. So let's take the white part. If you want, you can trace a little circle, or you can cut it freehand. I'm going to just freehand it, I think. So I'm just going to cut a fairly good size circle. I would say a little bigger than a quarter, like a piece of money. So now I have two eyes. Then I need to cut a couple of smaller circles out of this black piece. I'm going to fold it in half again so I can cut them both out at once. If you wanted to trace around something for this second circle, pencil usually shows up well enough on black construction paper that you'll be able to see your shape. All right, so I've got big circle, smaller circle. I'm going to glue the smaller black circle into the middle of the white circle. You can see I didn't do a perfect job. That is just fine. And if you need to do a perfect job, that's also just fine. Whatever works for you. Okay, now I have two eyes that I've made, and they go, I'm going to show you my fish sample here again. They go right up here at the top, one on each side. And with your beautiful fish all decorated, you can add some extra strips for this beautiful long tail. Just glue those right on. So I hope you have fun making your fish craft. If you would, I don't know if you feel like it, but if you would, I invite you to post some pictures of what you've made. Tell us how you're liking the summer reading. If you have some pets at home, that would be fun to hear about those. Maybe put some pictures up on this post, or just anywhere on our page is fine. And we would enjoy sharing that information too. Or if you just want to come to the library and tell me all about it, that would be great. Okay, I hope we'll see you soon at the library to get out some books. Keep track of your reading time so you can get some prizes, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.